Have you ever looked out your window and felt eyes staring back at you? What you're about to hear is not a story to entertain. It's real, sealed, and forbidden. This is the tale of the window watcher, an entity that waits in your backyard, mimicking the stillness of garden statues, and only moves when you aren't looking. The first whispers of this phenomenon date back decades. Quiet suburban neighborhoods, the kind with white picket fences and perfectly manicured lawns, began reporting strange movements in the night. Garden gnomes, flower pots, even carefully arranged lawn ornaments appeared slightly shifted in the morning. At first, authorities dismissed it as pranksters, children playing harmless games, or simply forgetfulness on the part of the homeowners. It's easy to misremember where you left a ceramic frog, right? But the reports didn't stop. They grew. In some areas, entire streets experienced sightings simultaneously. It wasn't just one house anymore. It was a wave of quiet, unnerving activity. People claimed they could feel it watching, a presence so still it was almost invisible, a cold spot in the warm summer air. The feeling was so intense that it made the hair on their arms stand up. Some say the first sightings were so disturbing that the official police reports were sealed, stamped with red ink, and the investigation was never released to the public. Whatever was happening, the authorities didn't want anyone to know. It was buried, locked away in a filing cabinet, left to gather dust while the presence in the backyards continued to wait and watch. The early rumors and warnings spread not through newspapers or online forums, but through hushed whispers over garden fences and hurried phone calls between neighbors. Residents described subtle changes in their surroundings. You might catch a shadow in the corner of your yard, a flicker of movement just at the edge of your vision, or notice a stone statue has shifted, its head tilted just a few degrees to the right. You'd blink, look again, and convince yourself you just imagined it. Your mind is playing tricks on you, you'd say, but the doubt would linger. Some even reported hearing whispers outside their windows, faint as the wind rustling through the leaves, yet distinctly human, a soft sibilant sound that would vanish the moment you strained to hear it. Locals quickly learned not to speak of it openly. Conversations would vanish into awkward silence if the topic was raised in public. Warnings were hushed, passed on with a nervous glance over the shoulder. And the most disturbing detail of all, those who claimed to confront the figure directly, who worked up the courage to shout into the darkness or run outside, reported a sudden, cold silence. It wasn't just quiet. It was as if the world itself had paused to watch. Every cricket, every rustling leaf, every distant car engine suddenly gone, leaving only an oppressive, deafening stillness. The first documented disappearances connected to the window watcher are murky, buried in redacted files and forgotten cold cases. One account, pieced together from a frantic 911 call and a single eyewitness statement, tells of a teenager who was home alone. He reported seeing a figure in his yard, standing impossibly still, mimicking the posture of one of his family's garden gnomes. He thought it was a prank. He blinked, and in that fraction of a second, the figure was no longer in the yard. It was inches from his window, its form a vague, dark shape against the glass. He vanished that night. The window was found unlocked, but there were no signs of a struggle. He was simply gone. Pet owners in these affected areas have told stories of their animals disappearing one by one. First a cat, then a dog, then another, until the neighborhood fell silent, devoid of the usual barking and meowing. At least one homeowner reported waking up to find all their doors locked from the outside, with no sign of forced entry. They were trapped in their own home. Surveillance cameras, when set up, captured only vague blurs, ghostly trails of motion that appeared only when the observer's back was turned. In the video frames where the witness was looking directly at the yard, there was nothing at all. The entities seemed to know when it was being watched, and by whom. In the wake of these events, a wall of silence descended upon the communities. Neighbors who might have witnessed something stay quiet. Doors remain closed, even on the sunniest of days. Curtains are drawn tight. Some homes are abandoned altogether, left to the whispers in the dark. Their lawns slowly becoming overgrown, Their windows, like hollow, empty eyes. Those who attempt to investigate journalists, amateur sleuths, or concerned outsiders are warned off. Locals will cross the street to avoid them, and for those who persist, the warnings become more direct. Some claim to see a figure, frozen in a statuesque pose, at the very edge of their vision as they walk down the street. It's there for a moment, and then gone. People describe a feeling of being hunted, a slow, deliberate, patient presence that does not run, does not retreat. It simply waits. It's a psychological game of cat and mouse, where the mouse doesn't even know the rules, and the cat never seems to move. The feeling is one of constant, low-grade dread, the certainty that something is out there, and it's only a matter of time before it decides to stop waiting. In some communities, entire streets have been quietly marked as unofficially restricted. There are no signs, no police tape, but the locals know. These are areas you do not enter after nightfall. The streetlights might flicker and die, or maybe it's just the overwhelming sense of being an intruder that keeps people away. Law enforcement files on the phenomenon remain partially sealed, unavailable to the public through any official channels. The few pages that have leaked out are heavily censored, with entire paragraphs blacked out. Some reports speak of audio recordings that were confiscated from witnesses. Recordings of those faint whispers that were so unnerving that officers refused to listen to them twice. They spoke of images, blurry photos from disposable cameras, that were so unsettling they were ordered to be destroyed. And yet, despite the silence and the secrecy, the sightings continue. The window watcher does not need to be seen to terrify. Its power lies in the unknown, in the feeling of its presence, and its true intentions remain a complete mystery. A mystery that will only deepen as the story continues. A fleeting shadow at the edge of your vision as you draw the curtains for the night. You dismiss it, of course. A trick of the light, your mind playing games after a long day. But then it happens again, and again. They call it the window watcher, a figure that appears in backyards, just standing there, motionless, staring at the house. At first, it's just a silhouette, indistinguishable from a garden statue or a strangely shaped tree. But soon, the feeling of being watched becomes undeniable, a cold pressure against the back of your neck. When night falls, the window watcher's presence grows more pronounced. Residents awake to find lawn ornaments shifted, gates ajar, shadows in places they know should be empty. Those who sleep near windows report a weight on their chest, a gaze pressing through the glass. Investigators who attempted to document it claim to have felt eyes following them into their homes. Some swear the figure can be felt, even when unseen. Whispers carry across yards, sometimes forming words that vanish if spoken aloud. It's a chilling game of cat and mouse, where you are always the mouse, and you never see the cat coming. The terror isn't in what it does. It's in the anticipation, the knowledge that it's out there, waiting for you to let your guard down. Naturally, the stories attracted paranormal investigators, eager to capture proof of this backyard phantom. They set up their gear, high-tech cameras, EMF meters, audio recorders, all pointed at the empty spaces where the watcher was said to appear. For hours, nothing. The equipment recorded only the quiet hum of the suburban night. In the split-second frames, where the operator blinked or turned away, a dark shape would be there, frozen, sometimes just inches from the lens. It was a digital ghost, a phantom that existed only in the moments we fail to perceive. Investigators report a creeping dread during these sessions, a sensation that the entity is studying not just the home, but the observer. It learns your habits, your blind spots. One team documented faint footsteps circling a property, a complete loop around the house, but no footprints were ever found in the soft dirt. Night vision footage occasionally shows a figure in impossible poses, limbs bent at unnatural angles, its body contorted and moving, yet undeniably alive. The more they tried to capture it, the more it seemed to toy with them, revealing itself only in the periphery, in the moments of inattention. The most terrifying accounts are not of the watcher in the yard, but of when it decides to come inside. There are stories of it leaving the yard entirely, appearing inside homes, hours, or even days later. It might be a fleeting reflection in a mirror where no one is standing, or a dark shape huddled in a corner you swear was empty a moment ago. Victims describe catching glimpses out of the corner of their eyes, only to find it gone when they look directly. It plays with your sanity, making you question your own senses. Some claim the figure has been in their homes for weeks before they finally confront it or disappear entirely. The signs are subtle at first. An object moved slightly, a chair rotated a few degrees, a lamp on the floor that you know you didn't knock over, a curtain drawn tighter than it was the night before. These are its calling cards, quiet announcements of its presence. It doesn't need to break down doors or shatter windows. It simply appears. It's always there, just beyond the edge of perception. A silent roommate you never invited in. It watches you eat, sleep, and live your life, an unseen audience to your most private moments. The constant, gnawing feeling of being observed wears you down, until you're afraid to be alone in your own home. In neighborhoods plagued by frequent sightings, something far more sinister began to happen. People started to vanish. Not just individuals, but entire families, disappearing from their homes overnight without a trace. The disappearances all coincided with a spike in reports of the window watcher. Authorities would arrive to find breakfast still on the table, cars in the driveway, but the houses were empty. In each case, neighbors reported strange figures in the yards of the missing families in the nights leading up to their disappearance. Surveillance footage from doorbell cameras and home security systems was confiscated by investigators, and almost none of it has ever been released to the public. But leaks and witness accounts paint a chilling picture. They insist they saw the watcher in every frame, frozen, silent, unmoving. But here is the terrifying part. It only stayed still as long as the camera was recording continuously. In footage where the camera had a slight glitch, a dropped frame, a momentary skip, the figure would move. One recording, partially leaked online, shows a dark figure at the edge of a backyard, perfectly still. The person operating the camera blinks, and in that fraction of a second, the figure has shifted several feet closer, staring directly at the lens with an unnerving intensity, before vanishing completely from the next frame. The official investigation was never released. The files were sealed, leaving only rampant fear and whispered rumors behind. What is the window watcher? Is it a human stalker with an almost supernatural ability to avoid detection? Is it a ghost, a demon, or something else entirely? Something from beyond our understanding? We don't know. All we know is that it thrives on observation and fear. It uses our own biology against us. Blinking, looking away, even just leaving a room, these are all opportunities for it to get closer. It waits patiently, blending into the mundane backgrounds of our lives. The statues in the garden, the familiar shadows of our home. And when no one is watching, it moves, inch by inch, step by step, always closer. Some say it feeds on attention, on the dread it leaves in its wake. The more you fear it, the more you think about it, the stronger its presence becomes. No one truly knows what happens if it finally catches you, if you turn around and find it standing right behind you. The people who might know are no longer here to tell their story. It's a predator that hunts in the blind spots of our perception, a monster that lives in the corner of your eye. Tonight, when you go to lock your doors, take an extra look into your backyard. When you feel a sudden chill, check the corners of your eyes. Blink carefully, because what waits there may already be watching you. Some reports were sealed, some investigations never released, and the window watcher is still out there. Subscribe to Tales of the Dark, where every story gives you a nightmare.